Yeah. Look, shorty, it's a bomb in the building. When I link with you, nothing else matters. What you trying to do? Yeah. I got me some time set aside for you. Yeah. Spend a little more if the vibe is cool. Come and vibe we do. When I link with you, I got the juice that is right for you. Don't be ashamed, spend the night with you. Do all the things that you trying to do. If the vibe is cool, when I link with you. I've always been. All right, Cornelius, rise and shine. We got work to do.
As you wish, sir. I'm awaiting orders. How would you like to proceed this evening?
So I think we're going to just go. We're going to just put it on me and just let it ride. All right, so we got a lot to talk about. We have had some massive developments. I got a call from a DJ that I look up to, that I respect, and he basically was saying that how he, doesn't disagree with what I had said about the DJs a couple of episodes back, because it was fair, you know what I mean? But if I'm gonna do that, then I have to play it straight, you know what I mean? And call out the artist when artists maybe say something stupid, and so yeah, we're gonna have to do that today, and that's gonna turn into a whole thing because it was an artist that I like, actually. He did an interview with a couple other guys, and Arizona has this thing of where we do shit that I think sets up artists in a bit of a compromising position, and they kind of get to talking a little too much because you after a few minutes of listening, you realize that they are pretty much just spouting talking points that they've kind of read off the internet, and they don't actually have any substance to them. Like, they don't actually have any nutrients in kind of what they're trying to say. It's pretty nothing-ish, you know what I mean? So that's all going to tie together. What else? Matty Ice has a new event coming. I'm going to talk about battle rapping and that, and kind of the dynamic between that and artists in Arizona, because I think that some of these plays, that though they are the only ones available to a lot of Arizona artists, like I said, I don't think they benefit the artists long term, and are kind of leading in the direction that I would think they would want to go. Battle rapping and artistry, the music business, are two very different things. Not necessarily saying that one is better than the other. I'm just saying that I do believe one has a much lower ceiling than the other, and I think sometimes you can get stuck in that realm and kind of cut your own legs out from under you, and I don't want artists to do that, or I want to be an advocate to kind of give the information so that they can make kind of an informed decision. You know what I mean? What else? We'll do the justice thing. I know that a lot of people got upset that I made that clip about the Arizona HipHop Festival, and maybe we should start there. Let's start there. Look, this is gonna be short. This is gonna be quick. Listen, I'm not against the Arizona HipHop Festival. I think it's a great event. It serves a purpose. I myself have done the Arizona HipHop Fest, I think, 3 times. I know one of those times is when and Justice would have more information on this, but the snakish dude that ran off with all the money, yeah, we all remember that. I remember dealing with him, and I was like, you understand what I'm saying? But anyway, and like I said, I've had a very good experience every time that I did the Arizona Hip Hop Fest. But like I said, I went there for a purpose, you know what I mean? To, like I said, to stretch my legs on stage, kind of figure out that stage presence, try out some songs, like see how this song will play other than that song, to kind of test myself. You know what I mean? I'll tell you one story. I did a show one night, and it was the first night I was going to do a song called Detonate. It's out now. It's definitely a big song, and but I was going to do it no background vocals. I was going to go up there and go. And like I said, that's like a 3-minute plus song of just me getting busy. You know what I mean? And like I said, I love that song, but it was something that I rehearsed weeks for, because I was like, dude, you're gonna get in front of a room full of people, crowd full of people, and you're gonna be rapping with no safety net. You know what I mean? You're basically skydiving without a parachute. And I at the time was kind of worried whether or not I could fly or not. You know what I mean? But anyway, long story short, I get up on stage, I do it, and bring the house down, dude. Like I absolutely smoked it, front to back, killed it, and like I said, afterwards the crowd went nuts. Listen, more people came up to me just saying, how, I did a great job. They loved it. They were going to check it out. I shook more hands that night than I ever thought I would. Like, I shook so many hands that night that afterwards, like, we bought hand sanitizer in bulk. You know what I mean? It was kind of one of those things. But that's just one of the, and that was the other thing. Like, that was the night, like, literally after that performance, like, everybody that came to see me, anybody that wanted to hang out, just wanted to vibe, like, we split and ended up going to Hannigan's. And is it Hannigan's? I think it's Hannigan's. Anyway, we went to a bar downtown and absolutely had a blast. Drinks all over the place. It was a good time. So what I'm trying to say is that the Arizona Hip Hop Festival, I'm not dogging the festival. Like, I don't have anything bad to say. And like I said, I stand on what I said, because I don't think anything that I did utter in those clips was bad at all. You know what I mean? It was just kind of presenting the facts out loud to everyone. I don't know if y'all thought that was a secret. I don't know if y'all thought that like that was some information that people didn't know, or you didn't want people to know. Like, listen, the Arizona Hip Hop and the Arizona Hip Hop Festival is nothing to be ashamed of. You know what I mean? But like I said, unfortunately, because just the way that the ancillary pieces in the music community have kind of fallen over the years, the festival hasn't become what it could be. And like I said, I think we'll get there. But there's a lot of work to be done. And like I said, we have to kind of pinpoint some of the shortcomings that it has. And like I said, at no point was I saying that Justice needs anyone. Justice himself does not need anyone. Like I said, he's not broke. Like, he's doing fine. Like, anyone calling us broke would be absolutely ridiculous. Like, that never came out of my mouth. That's not what I'm insinuating. But what I will say is that the Arizona Hip Hop Festival does need us. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the whole thing, because like Arizona has never been able to house a star. These events, festivals locally have not been able to grow and explode the way they should have. So like I said, Justice needs no one. It's the festival that needs someone, and we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And like I said, I'm not going to go into a deep dive on it right now, because that's something that we will get into in a later episode. Like I said, Justice and RTU and the festival, that's all level 3. I still have to get into Bootleg Kev. I know a lot of y'all have been like on my head top about, talk about Kev. Do y'all think that I'm gonna like dunk on Kev? Like, that's not what's gonna happen here. Like, I think Bootleg Kev has been successful and a pioneer for a lot of things, and I mean, nobody's perfect. And like I said, the only thing that I plan on doing is just pointing out where maybe we've dropped the ball, maybe we could do better. You know what I mean? Like I said, he's on that media list for a reason. Forever, whatever y'all take that for, how much stock y'all put into it is up to you. But like I said, he belongs amongst the greats of hip hop media. But like I said, I don't know if we've seen ramifications and kind of benefits of that kind of trickle down to Arizona and kind of reverberate the way that we wanted to. But like I said, we're going to talk about it. And like I said, it's y'all chill. Nobody's attacking Kev. That's not what we're gonna do. But yeah. So where do we want to start? Let's start with the battle rap thing. How about that? Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna take a break right now, and then when we get back, Cornelius, we're gonna go into the battle rap stuff.
Best out, don't count if it don't involve me. Go talk off mark if it don't involve me. Dripped out in my own, yeah. Only thing that's on me, yeah. You ain't know, but now you know.
Wanna get up? All right, so we're gonna talk about battle rap, and it's eventually going to segue into it's going to segue into Matty Ice and his title fight that's going to take place. I believe it's going to happen in Miami at some point. But how does Arizona feel about battle rap? Listen, I have a great deal of respect for battle rap. It's definitely a different type of art form. Now, for me, just how I feel, I'm not the type to be able to continuously get a kick out of the hurling of insults. And like I said, that's not trying to take away any type of skill or talent that battle rappers have. But I do get a little annoyed after a while of just hearing insult after insult. And I mean, the line just is pushed further and further back, which I understand is kind of an aspect of a battle rap. It just, like I said, it's one of those things in small doses. Like, I love to travel the country, but there are definitely some cities that a week max is enough. You know what I mean? But that's kind of my feel on battle rap. And like I said, Arizona has, I think, for a long time held or housed the number one battle rapper in the world. Is that true? And that's Rum Nitty. How has that helped Arizona? Has that been like a big deal? Is that like a flag that Arizona waves all the time? Is what has come of that? I guess the point I'm trying to get to is I think battle rap has a cap and a ceiling, and Arizona having the number one battle rapper for quite some time, I believe, I guess kind of puts into perspective how battle rap in our time now is kind of stationed, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's not to throw any shade or take any shine away from, like I said, the art of battle rap, like the talented artists that do it. But like it's different now more than ever. Battle rap and just like music artistry. You know what I mean? I was talking to somebody the other day that was we were talking about why he thought that Jay-Z acapella freestyle kind of didn't hit like it would have yesteryears. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I said was that I think because just the art of rap, the ability to rap, has kind of evaporated. And what I mean by that is it's easier for a guy now that wants to call himself a rapper to just grab a mic and start talking, which would be your acapella, because a lot of these guys can't write a beat. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they can't even rap on beat anymore. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, like, you couldn't rap unless you could hold a tune. You know what I mean? As long as if you couldn't like tap your foot on beat, you weren't even gonna sniff a microphone. You know what I mean? But nowadays, like, it's anyone can grab a mic and rhyme a sentence with another sentence and then another sentence. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's why I was, I don't think the Jay-Z freestyle hit, because people saw that and were like, yeah, I can do that. You know what I mean? I like green eggs and ham. My name is Sam. I am. You know what I mean? I like to play kick the can. You understand what I'm saying? That's like super elementary. And like I said, and I'm not saying that Hove isn't great at what he does, but that type of rap now, people don't look at it as something that is mythical. You know what I mean? That is super duper complicated. I think now the newer rappers look at it as being more difficult to rap on beat. And that sounds crazy for me to even say, but that just kind of shows you where kind of hip hop is at right now. And like I said, we're gonna get to that a little bit later, because the I told y'all there was an Arizona artist that kind of got a little bit chirpy on the mic and kind of said some shit that it got him in a little bit of hot water. I don't think he knows that. But unfortunately, it's gonna bring up a conversation to where we now have to talk about everything. He'll be the star of the show, at least for this episode. You know what I mean? But anyway, back to this battle rap thing. So I said all that to say, Matty Ice is putting on this event coming up in Miami. Matty Ice has been doing these kind of battle rap things for a long time. He's done multiple ones. I think he's done, is it 2 or 3 in Arizona? I know he did the first one, and like I said, the reason why we're talking about this is because, like, the first one, right off the bat, I was looking at it a little sideways because that was when he was heavily promoting the white dude in Vegas. I don't know what his name was. The guy that was rapping on the corner a bunch. You know what I mean? But the amount of kind of promotion that was kind of leaning his way, it just said to me that they think that this guy's the draw, that this guy is the quote unquote cash cow, the one that's gonna like sell this event. And in my mind, I just put two and two together. It's like, you can't have this guy not make it a long way, if not win. You know what I mean? And if it gets close with anyone, there's going to be a problem, because I think you're going to lean in a certain direction. I saw it. A lot of people did not, or they just ignored it. Okay, because like I said, everybody that let me not say everybody. A lot of people that are somebody in Arizona rap did that first one. A lot of people did it, and I just I did not do it. I know that Merkham's didn't do it either. I have no idea why Merkham's didn't do it, but like I said, I stayed away from it just because I thought the deck was loaded from jump. You know what I mean? And anyway, like I said, as I predicted, it happened. It looked like it was fixed. Whether it was or not, I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It was years ago. And then I think there was the second one was when me and Matty talked about doing it. I was in the process of making Operation 2. And so me doing it, it would be like, is it there 8 rounds or something like that? So basically, I was going to have to make an entirely new album just for the show. And so that's why we were having talks about that. And it wasn't, not that we were fixing anything. I was just trying to explain to him that, but basically I'm making a new album because I'm going to have 8 separate raps that, cover a wide variety of opponents, a wide variety of topics. It had to make sense for me. You know what I'm saying? It ended up working out, which is cool. It's fine. Like, I got nothing against Matty, whatever. But now there's this one in Miami, and I'm bringing this up because I'm a little bit, concerned is not the word. I just want to put it on the table, my feelings, because I give a shit about this particular artist. And that's Chris Coke. You know what I mean? Because I've worked with Chris Coke. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's one of the best rappers that we have in Arizona. And like I said, I because we've had those limited interactions, and like I said, put that work in on that song. I want to see him win. You know what I mean? And I just I guess maybe I want to get a little bit of clarity and make sure that this is in the best interest of everyone. So everyone knows Chris Coke has kind of been missing for a couple months, whatever, since the start of the year. For whatever reason, like, I ended up, I was asking people around whether he was like locked up or something like that. Just to check in, like, yo, man, we have a song together. There's stuff going on. Like, would like to keep him kind of abreast of what's going on. You couldn't find him. Didn't know where it was. And then all of a sudden he pops up, you know what I mean? This week, last week, whenever it was, doing kind of the same thing that he did that first battle event in Phoenix, and it's we're talking shit about this particular opponent, which is selling a fight. Like, I guess I think that's where my concern comes in, because the amount of respect that I have for Chris Coke, and first of all, like, I'm saying this because I don't know whether Arizona realizes it, but in my opinion, Chris Coke is an artist that has already made a classic Arizona project. Like, you know what I mean? So that album, I butcher the name every single time. It's the album about sex, money, and murder, or sex, murder, and survival, or something along that lines. Y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? That is a phenomenal project, and like, once again, unfortunately, it's another project that Arizona absolutely fumbled. They don't talk to me about other people's business, and they shouldn't. But why wasn't anything taken? There was so much good shit on that album. Why didn't Arizona take any of it? Like, I don't, is it because he's Mexican, because he was using the N-word for a little bit? Like, why it bugs me when we completely want to like disregard great music, and that project was. I mean, he has a classic album in my opinion, and so I don't want to see him turned into a WWE superstar, because this is what these rap events are starting to look like. And so when he pops up out of the blue and goes on, you know what I mean, these rants about whoever, and I'm not saying he's fake at all, because I don't think Chris Koch is fake in any way, shape, or form. But that's what it gives. It gives WWE. It gives, like, you know what I mean, a brand risk kind of fight card. Like, and I don't. Me personally, I don't want Chris Koch associated with that shit, because I have seen him be a great artist. I don't think Chris Koch needs to prove anything as far as rap. He's already done that. Dude, when you talk about top 10 rappers in Phoenix right now, if you don't have Chris Koch in it, I'm looking at you a little bit weird. But like I said, if somebody comes to me and is like, yo, Adam, your boy is out there fucking beating his chest, and you know, it looks like a WWE superstar kind of thing. Is that what we're going for? And like I said, I mean, Chris Koch is his own man. And like I said, I respect his decisions, and I would stand by it. So I don't blame Matty Ice for any of this, but like, well, maybe that's not true. Like he gets some of it, but that's what this event feels like. That's what that's what Matty Ice's events feel like. They feel like, you know, a WWE show, like a WrestleMania. And it just, you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you really hate this guy, or is this? Are we selling a fight? And it's okay if we're just selling a fight. But like, is everyone aware that there are smart folks now on the internet that kind of see it? You understand what I'm saying? And I think a lot of these kind of moves are made because Arizona doesn't know what to do with the fucking golden goose when they have it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, once again, I will forever go back to, another Arizona fumble with that project. And like I said, if I put out a fucking great project and like my state has no idea what to do with it and nothing happens, well, then I kind of have to pivot and make another move. And I think that's how you end up with an amazing artist as a Chris Koch doing these kind of WWE events. You understand what I'm saying? So, but like I said, I mean, I'm going to tune in, of course. Like I said, whether the shit is kind of staged or not, like, if I had to place a bet, put my money on Chris Koch and let it ride. And, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But, I guess I say all those things so that other artists that, I guess are coming up or looking to make moves, just kind of understand kind of what things are and how they appear to folks that have working brain cells, I guess. You know what I mean? But like I said, dude, I'm looking forward to the event. I think it's going to be interesting. Matty Ice does put on good events. But like I said, me personally, I always want my art to be taken seriously, or at least received in a way that you're going to, you understand that you are getting me every time. Like I don't want to do anything that now has people looking at what I bring forth as, is this a show? Is this a charade kind of thing? And once again, like I said, I don't think Chris Koch is fake at all. But just this, me personally, if I had a vote, I would say, Koch, don't do this. You know what I mean? Like, just give us another just amazing body of music and stick to that. But like I said, no shade. Like I said, I'm going to be tuned in. But just like I said, I give that to artists so that they can kind of understand how people see some of these things. Yeah. But anyway, Cornelius, what do you want to do next?
My systems show a very interesting conversation between you and another rapper. Something about individuals relishing the idea of you possibly relinquishing your position atop the Arizona rap game. Care to elaborate on the subject, sir?
Okay. Yeah. No. We can do this. That's cool. All right. So, I was talking to an artist the other day. Yeah, and he said the cutest thing. Yo, oh man, this shit made me smile. Uh, he was like, so he said, "Hey man, why don't you push your music more?" Like, I mean, and I was like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, I push the music every single day, like multiple times a day. And he was like, oh no, well, you got the podcast thing now. So I didn't know whether you were still doing music. Bro, listen, I smiled from ear to ear, dude. And so I told my people, and we were talking about it, and because he's a cool dude, you know what I mean? And they were like, dude, you have to talk about it. You have to make a little segment about it, just to kind of, because this is something that I do think is reverberating around Arizona right now. Like, I think people, rappers specifically, like artists, think that they have now found a way out. People, the bomber's here to stay, okay? The raps aren't going anywhere. Like, the music is still coming. Like, the albums will still drop. Like, from the start of this thing, I have built systems, like just ways of being able to produce whatever the arm is consistently. And so we didn't even think of starting the podcast or starting any type of talk show, doing this. All right, we didn't even consider it until we felt comfortable that, hey, we can still do everything else at a high rate. Quality is just at a high level. You understand what I'm saying? So anyone that thinks that, yo, Adam's like out of the rap game because now like I'm handling like the talking heads, like don't fool yourself. Like, like silly rabbit. Like, no. Like, I'm still on everyone's head top. You know what I mean? And I told this guy, I was like, I use the raps to handle the rappers, and now I use the chats to handle the chatters. You understand? Like, it's just, and that's kind of like, and that's the thing, dude, is like artists need to understand that. Like, I've now cracked the code, and I hope that I am showing folks a way to kind of protect their just creative. You understand what I'm saying? I think for years, especially in Arizona, like artists would put everything into their music, and then somebody with a microphone would just, talk it to death and beat the hell out of it. And, there's how does an artist defend against that? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard to go into the studio and create a good piece of music. So you're not going to run to the studio and create a fucking song every time that somebody wants to shit on your music for however long that they do. You know what I mean? But it's much easier now. You have to be able to articulate, like, you have to be able to communicate in order to do it. But like, it's much easier for like someone that is talking, attacking, whatever it is that you do, you personally, whatever, to just grab a mic and do the exact same thing back. You understand what I'm saying? So like the podcast is like, the bomber is here to kind of just provide information. And that's something that somebody said to me recently, was that, how, yo, Adam, you're fucking 2 months into a podcast, and you've probably given more music insight for Arizona, about Arizona, than Arizona has in years. You know what I mean? And like, that's not me tooting my own horn. Like I said, somebody else said that. You know what I mean? But yeah, like this, the bomber, the podcast, like the internet show, is to, like I said, provide some information and also be able to give the necessary rebuttal, if somebody starts talking crazy. You know what I mean? 'Cause like, we all know there's been quite a few folks over the years that just get in front of the microphone and start talking fucking crazy. You know what I mean? And a lot of that has been just because there's been these kind of cliques in Arizona to where, this person has their clique of people, and so they're gonna shit on everyone else in an attempt to make their guys look better. But those days are over. Like, there's a new sheriff in town. Like there's a new way of kind of handling these things, and I love it. Like I said, listen, I'm old school outlaw. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Wild West out. You know what I mean? So shoot 'em up, bang bang on the internet works. You know what I mean? Like, by all means, if we want to fucking sling mud for, you know what I mean, back and forth for weeks, like, that's free content. You know what I mean? That's easy. There's no problem. I've got no qualms against that. I would much rather do the raps. Like I said, I love music. I love rapping. You know what I mean? I've said this millions of times. I don't follow closely with like entertainment and famous folks, like shit that they put on TV and the internet to just kind of be a distraction. But I know that Dr. Dre did I don't know, was it an HBO sit down or show or something like that? But the quote was, if he was still a plumber, that he would still be making music. And I have been lucky enough to reach that point in my life to where, the music will always come. You know what I mean? Like, we just released the Blast Radius. And like I said, I said the raps are for the rappers and the chats are for the chatters. You know what I mean? But I put out Blast Radius because of that ridiculous list. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, okay, we'll just bomb everybody that's fucking trash on that list, and you get the Blast Radius. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, it's we need platforms now. I'm not saying that every artist has to have a fucking podcast, but I think every artist has to have a voice and be able to talk with the talkers. You know what I mean? It's and that's where, it's gonna segue into our next topic about like the artist and kind of where you have to actually know how to talk and kind of know what you're talking about. And like I said, I'm not gonna dunk on this artist either. Like I'm gonna provide some what's advice, some ideas that could really get the ball rolling, because like I said, I like this guy, and I think he's also been able to make some noise by himself. But like I said, you got to be able to articulate yourself when you get on some of these platforms and talk. And like I said, it took me a long time to feel comfortable talking on a microphone. Like, it just because I don't have guests, I don't have a co-host or anyone to like bounce off of. It's literally just me and the viewer. You know what I mean? I'm fucking solo tanking this thing. And I'm also good at it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel good about it. I am kind of sturdy and strong in my points and my opinions and how I feel. But yeah, dude, when that artist said that, like, basically, yo, Adam, are you done with music? The fuck? What? Yeah. Hey, no, dude, I haven't even hit my prime yet. The fuck? No, absolutely not. Yo, and like I said, I can't wait to just give you the projects, yo. Like, I'm super fucking proud. And like I said, this year has kind of been interesting for Arizona, and that's kind of why I've kind of moved the way that I have for this year. I know that I think it was Smoke Joe put out a list of like notable albums that have dropped this year, and I'm sure that there are some great albums on that list, but it's nothing on that list came across as, yo, Adam, like, you need to drop an album now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not that. We do have a lot more songs that are going to come out this year that just kind of make sense. I've been fortunate to work and just kind of get, just like I said, get into that groove. You know what I mean? Get into that groove to where the music comes easy. And I've got tons to talk about. Like, there's a lot of shit happening in my life. So there's not any shortage of material and things to talk about. So yeah, y'all rappers don't fucking get comfy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like at this point, y'all understand. Yo, the lists are fucking null and void. Like you can talk in circles all fucking day long. Like, people are noticing that, like, you are fucking sidestepping the bomber. you know what I mean? And it's really cool. It's really cool. Like I said, I've gotten a lot of great feedback about the podcast so far. Like I said, it's stirred up conversation, and it's definitely bringing attention to the brand. Like I said, I have a PR lady, and that's kind of how all of this is kind of like coming together more and more, better and better as it goes along. Because, like, she told me, like Adam, you're super fucking talented, and like anything that you put your mind to, like, you do, like, you accomplish. You know what I mean? And I think the next step for you would be share yourself with the world, like, for real. You know what I mean? Like, get on a microphone and just talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, talk about yourself, talk about music, talk about clothing, talk about rap, whatever you want to do. Now, obviously, she gave me some guidelines. Like, she gave me some shit that I have to, like, stay away from. Like, she kind of gave me, like, politics is one of them. Like, just stay out of politics. You know what I mean? But like, dude, just give your opinion, be genuine, be authentic. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's everything is to promote me and kind of what I got going on. And like I said, the number one thing will always be music. It will always be music. It's just that was a gift from my father. That's kind of the way that when it's all said and done, people will be able to kind of recount the story of Adam. You know what I mean? And that feels really good. You know what I mean? Like I've always talked about how that is the one thing that I'll be able to hand down to my kids. You know, if times get really hard and, you know, my children want to hear my voice, or anyone in the world wants to hear my voice, they will be able to just go through the Adam Bomb catalog and find what they need. You know what I mean? Because like I talk about a lot in my music. You know what I mean? For those that don't know me, that are interested in me, that are kind of intrigued about, man, who's this Adam guy? You know, my recommendation would be listen to the music. You know what I mean? Like go and just explore. You know what I mean? You look, the reason why we set up kind of the song covers, the single covers, kind of the way they are. Like I found an amazing artist, Kazuki Miyagi is he's such a great guy, dude. He's such a great guy, and I've been working with him from the beginning. But you pick an image that you like. Yeah, you know what, that cover's cool. That cover's cool, and then it's going to come with a song. And like I said, the title is pretty straightforward. Like the title will kind of give you an idea of what the song is going to be about, and you just it's. I want to get back to discovering music being fun. I want it to be an experience. I want it to be like a journey, but like an audio journey. Like everyone knows that I'm not big on like music videos anymore, and like it just, I don't need to fucking do the song and dance for anyone at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's why we've kind of gotten away from music being about music, because it's people are not necessarily listening. They're just watching for, hey, does this look good instead of does it sound good? And I've always kind of gone against the grain. So I really want to stick with the music is amazing. It's top notch. It's quality. It's like Grammy level shit. And but you're not going to know that unless you throw on your headphones, you know what I mean? Put it on in your car and find out for yourself. You know what I mean? So the music's here to stay, folks. the music's here to stay. The music's going to keep coming. And like I said, God willing, I'll also be able to get on this mic and discuss what's kind of going on in my life, what's going on in the world. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Cornelius. I think now we're going to go into we're probably not going to get to any of Project Pipeline. Like that's, you know what I mean? We're probably not going to, like, I know y'all are going to be mad. And once again, you know, hey, Adam's ducking bootleg Kev. Like, no, like we're going to get to Kev. All right. Like, God, like, y'all want me to dunk on a dude. That's not what's going to happen. Okay. Like I said, I have my points to fucking make, but like, he's one of the ones that you can't necessarily trash. You know what I mean? But let's take a break, and then when we come back, we will talk about this artist. And like I said, the DJs got on me about, hey, Adam, you have to be fair. You called out the DJs, and rightfully so. But now you need to show them some fucking good faith and go ahead and give the pow to this artist for just kind of going off the rails. You know what I mean? So we'll be right back in a second.
Take it how you wanna take it, money got me motivated. I've been on my street shit, gutter but I elevated. Irvin with the rock here, twist it up and fold them like a lawn chair. If I'm not the realest, something wrong here. I don't need the pop shit, been a heartbreaker with the drop kick. And if they want keys, I'm the locksmith. I've been on the move, I'm the...
Okay, so the moment of truth, all right? Everybody's been wondering, who is this artist that I'm talking about, all right? Who is this artist that has kind of like, you know what I mean, put his foot in his mouth, you know what I mean? And... that artist is 1800 PC. I know. And listen, I like PC, okay? I think he has a lot of stuff going for him. but unfortunately, I think he got a little bit too mouthy. He kind of got flapping his gums a bit too much, and I think he divulged kind of what he doesn't know. You understand what I'm saying? And he did two separate. Forgive me, I'm looking on my phone right now because I'm trying to make sure that I name these guys properly. He did two separate podcasts. Okay. The first one that he did. Should we handle the DJs first or do? Maybe we should do the DJs first. All right. So yeah, we'll do. And once again, 1800 PZ again. So he put out a clip recently, saying that Arizona artists need to not be so sensitive. This was like it's a little bit of a story. All right, this happened and then these other things happened. So the first thing this clip comes out, basically he's saying that artists are being too sensitive, and was he talking about people need to get back to the music? And we're gonna test that theory. Like PZ, like I said, I like you, brother. Like I got nothing against you. I actually like. Well, I really like one of your songs. And let me see if I can find it. Y'all have to forgive me because, like I said, I don't really stay up to date with other artists just because I don't have time for it. But we are going to do this stuff on the fly, and so that I can make sure that I kind of am giving everybody a fair shake. Okay, so the song that I really like is Different G Gangs. It says Lost Files. It's off a project by 800 pieces. It's called Lost Files. And first off, let me just give you my assessment of PZ. He's a rapper, and like I said, I like him. Like some people do stuff better than others. And I like that song, Different Gangs. The problem is that that's one of those songs where the beat is riding the rapper, because the production on that song is so great. It could have been anyone on that song. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, I think it was one of the it might have been the Desert Coliseum a couple years ago. Mentioned that PZ is one of those guys that raps off beat. Does anybody disagree with that? Okay. First of all, let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think that there is this epidemic in hip hop now where like being able to like ride a beat isn't a thing anymore? Like it's just the whole Blueface made a hit with the whole Tatiana thing and he was completely off beat. A lot of artists now couldn't fucking rap on beat if, you know what I mean, their life depended on it. And like I'm not saying that PZ can't do that, but there are a lot of instances where like he's all over the place, and like we're kind of pick a lane, bro. Like let's, you know what I mean. And that particular song, like I said, though I really like it, I'm in love with the production and not necessarily what he does on the track. But we're gonna fix that. Like I said, we're like I said, I'm gonna be hard. And like I said, PZ, don't take this shit the wrong way, okay? Like this, unfortunately, like I said, I have a couple of DJs that I look up to, that I hold in high regards, that when they speak to me, like I listen, and they were very troubled by the statement that you made on Oz show, the Certified Savage, about how you don't need DJs anymore. Brother, that's 100% unequivocally false. Like, that's not true. You can't say that. You dog, with what kind of is going on with the DJs now, especially in Arizona. Like after I've I said what I said about Blaze, like the 8-second DJ thing. Like DJs are very sensitive right now, bro. Like and like I said, they kind of they understood where I was coming from because it was a fact. Like that whole 8-second shit is just, you can't do that. But like they said, hey, if you're going to do that, you better fucking hold these artists, to the same standard when they say something stupid. And brother, you said something fucking unbelievably. We need the DJs, okay? Like every artist needs the DJs. Just because I can make money without the DJs doesn't mean that the DJs aren't an important part that could like take me to another level. You understand what I'm saying? So just because you can do it without them doesn't mean that you will always come back to a DJ, okay? Like so. And when you made that statement, and this is when I'm gonna like give some credit. I showed you a lot of grace, dude, because I was expecting. I don't know why other people like enjoy off from time to time. I don't consider her much of a DJ, but like every once in a while, you'll catch her like in crash out mode, and it's a joy to watch. When you said that, I was expecting her to fucking spaz on you, dude. I was expecting her to go nuts, and she didn't. Like she handled it with grace. She showed you a lot of mercy, I think, because she fucks with you. But she should have ripped your head off. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, like it's like I like you and all, but like you fucked up. And so you kind of got to get this. You know what I mean? Like we need the DJs. All right, we absolutely have to have the DJs. Because like I said, even if you get to the heights that you want to get to, on the fall off, the DJs can keep you circulating, and that's, I think, especially now, that's a big one where the DJs can do a lot of damage. And then also, if you're a guy that is a club guy that wants to be in the club circuit and all that shit, then the DJs are super helpful. But yeah, you can't say that you don't need the DJs, because that's gonna fucking rub people the wrong way, and they have every right to respond to you with some vitriol. And like I said, I didn't do that, so I definitely want to give her flowers for handling that situation with grace. However, what she didn't do, now they want me to do. All right, so like I said, we kind of have to just give an eval of you, brother. When I was coming up, I had to rap. I wasn't allowed in studios because they didn't think I could rap. And so I had to get to the point where it doesn't matter what studio I walk into or who's in the studio. Like, the Bomber can hang with whoever on whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not so sure that you have that ability. But here's one thing that I will say. You, I think you have the potential to have one of the greatest albums out of Arizona all time. All right. And like, it's nothing you've already made, so don't slow down, everybody. You have the potential to make that project, but I'm not so sure your pride and ego is going to allow you to do that. Because here's how, in my assessment, this is my opinion, you could do it. Peasy is the kind of guy that you want a DJ Khaled album out of. And what I mean by that is that you want every song on his album, give me like 12 songs, and every song have a major feature from an Arizona guy. Okay? Listen, I'll work with you whenever. Like I said, I'm saying all this, and you're probably not gonna like me after this. And like, to be honest, I couldn't get two shits. But I would work with you. You know what I mean? But 12 songs, every song has a different feature. And here's the part that you're not gonna like. You'd be the sidekick on every song. Okay, like I'm not sure you being the Batman is a thing, but I think you'll be the perfect sidekick on everything, the perfect Robin for any track. Because like I said, and this is kind of one of those things where that people don't talk about it, is everyone's like, yo, how come like the Cactus Boys don't do a lot of shit with other folks in Arizona? That's because the Cactus Boys are going to get dog walked by anybody that they put on the record. And I like the Cactus Boys. I don't think that they can't rap. I do think that they rap better than UPZ. Like, sorry, I do think that's true. But like, I think there's some artists in Arizona that kind of have to get past the fact that if they work with certain people, like, they're going to be showing up on their own song. But bro, nobody expects UPZ to out rap anybody on a song, especially when you start getting into the names that like a Doobie record, a She Loves Sway record. Like pick your but like I said, make sure you're picking the good ones. You know what I mean? Like we all start with doing songs with our friends, and then we kind of need to get to the point where we're challenging ourselves and like pushing the envelope to get with other people. But if you had an album and every song had a different feature, and like I said, don't put a bunch of people on multiple songs, just you and them. Okay, that's all you need. One song, and put it all out together. I think it'd be an amazing project, because it would, every song would almost be a different style, a different sound. It would challenge you. It would be such a unique body of work. And at the end of the day, you would be a major component, because you're throughout every it would still be your album. You know what I mean? But like I said, no one's gonna fucking give you shit because like Adam Bomb out-rapped you on your record. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna give you shit because fucking, you know what I mean, Alexis sung you under the table. Like no one's gonna do that to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I know that you've got what Arizona would consider motion. I mean, there we can have a back and forth about that. But like I said, you like people like what you do. I'm just saying, how far do you want to take it? Because we can go farther. Like we can do a lot more if, like I said, I've said for a long time that one of Arizona's problems is ego. Is like everybody wants to be the man and maybe thinks they're the man, and so they're not willing to do things that kind of maybe they take a different role. Like one of the things that makes me good as a leader is that I know what it's like to follow. I know what it's like to sit second chair, to be the co-pilot, to be the sidekick. You know, I've done that before, and if the right opportunity comes up, I would be willing to do that again. You understand what I'm saying? But it has to be the appropriate opportunity. So like I said, that's my idea for, and like I said, everybody's like, yo, Adam, after you do this, like that dude's gonna hate me, like that. So, you know what I mean? This is something that's going to benefit somebody in Arizona. All right. Because you're not the only person that can't fucking rap on beat in Arizona. I do not think that you're the only person that has this fucking issue. Like, you're not. You know what I mean? So there's other people that maybe now, because I've said this to you, will see their deficiencies and be like, you know, hey, I think that's a good idea. I think I should. And like I said, you also have to convince some of these people to work with you. And like I said, I'm against charging folks to feature on records and things like that. But I think you will come into an issue where folks will want to get paid for it because they wouldn't see much value in just, you know what I mean, working for no reason or whatnot. But anyway, so the odd thing happened, and this is kind of goes back to your clip about being sensitive. We're gonna see whether you're sensitive or not. You know what I mean? Because like I ain't lied yet. You know, I haven't said not one thing that was untrue. And so we're gonna test your mic, so to speak. You know what I mean? So the odd thing happened, and like I said, I handled that great. I think what you said was, and that's the other thing that I think a lot of y'all have not figured out about Ah and kind of the way she works. Like she thrives on the you typing and her responding. Like she looks really good when you do that. If you don't type back to her, like it's so funny. And I think we're coming to a common ground. So I'm saying this because like it's funny. It's cool. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But like she'll get into this kind of back and forth with somebody in the chat, and like somebody will chat something, and then she'll say something, start screaming. You know what I mean? And then there's this long pause, because she's waiting for that dude to fucking text back. You know what I'm saying? She's waiting for the dude to fucking type back, and it's hilarious. You know what I mean? But once you see that, you're like, oh, yeah, there's, I see that. So and like I said, I think you kind of got caught up into that, and so that's why that whole you don't need the DJs kind of line spilled out, and yeah, man, it triggered a lot of people, and unfortunately, they hired the bomber. You know what I mean? And then so the after that you do the No Cosigns podcast. You know what I mean? And I like those guys. I do, and I thought it was good. I actually watched it. The problem is, my guys, this was another example of us making our artists not look the greatest. And I'm not blaming you for this. I'm gonna blame them for this. Because y'all let him talk and kind of talk himself into a corner. A lot of what he was saying, because y'all were talking about how, people using TikTok and how algorithms are important and how AI is integrated into everything. Like, y'all were talking about real shit. You know what I mean? The problem is on each of those topics, it was all. PZ would make a statement to, AI is integrated in everything. Yeah, duh. I mean, what else? Is there something else? But there was nothing. There was no meat and potatoes. You know what I mean? There was no substance to it. It was like, that was a statement, and there was no diving into. Okay, what do you mean? Like, how is Meta integrated in everything? Like how does that work? The algorithm is something that you have to be able to tap into. Cool. How do you fucking tap into the algorithm? And he not that he doesn't know any of those things. I'm not saying he doesn't know how to do it, because like I said, I've seen him, dancing and shit on TikTok recently. And that's the other thing. Look, yo, Pizzy. Because I think I said something about the shoot 'em up bang bang shit. Like, that is how people kind of know you, and that's how I was kind of introduced to you. Now the whole the dancing the dancing thing, like, what are we going for a rebrand, or what? This is when some people do need managers and definitely need like confidants and like just advisors to talk them through certain shit, because are you trying to completely change the image? Because I don't know if you're gonna be able to transition from the shoot 'em up bang bang street dude to whatever this shit is. First off, it looks goofy. I mean, but you're listen, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just compared to what everybody knows and loves you for, this, it doesn't even look like it's cut from the same cloth. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I myself have expanded into a lot of different avenues, like country, rock, like different styles of music. Now I've also like stuck to just music, and like I'm you don't find the bomber on fucking TikTok like trying to dance and gyrate and a bunch of shit like that. Like, you're not going to see that. So when you do this, it comes across as a little inauthentic. It comes across as, I think that this is what's popping now, so let me do it. And I understand that. I totally get the thought process of that. But do you understand how it would be hard for someone to get from the shoot 'em up bang bang Draco totin' rapper to whatever we're doing now? Does that make sense? Yeah, and I'm not saying it's bad. Like I said, the music I think that you're doing with this stuff is it's not bad. I mean, it's not my thing, but it's not bad. It's just it's interesting. It's interesting. And so that's why, like I said, when I watched this whole podcast, the No Cosign podcast, because I was thinking that y'all were going to get into that, and I was interested in it. I was like, yo, how does he go from the fucking, street tough gangster to the class clown? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it just, and so I was wondering, but you never got there. You know what I mean? And that part I'm going to blame on the podcast. It's like, yo, man, when he starts like talking and like you're not getting he's talking surface level shit. You know what I mean? Just headlines that you read off the internet. Direct him and help him into an area where we can make him look good. You know what I mean? So maybe he doesn't know how to articulate his transition from, street rapper to whatever this new person is. But I do think with him trying and stumbling through that conversation, it would have come across as authentic and genuine, and folks like myself and other folks would have been like, okay, he's trying to make a transition. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's having a little bit of trouble, but at least I can see it. Like, this is him trying something and just not knowing. You know what I mean? Instead of the street guy pretending to be this dude. You understand what I'm saying? But I want Arizona media to talk to these people and, like I said, make them look good. And like, PZ didn't help himself because clearly, like, he's not the best talker on the mic. But that's when you would hope that the media would kind of, I don't want to say hold your hand, but like kind of like walk you through some of these little sit downs. And like I said, you're not the first fucking artist to have issue with, the talking shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, we just did last episode. We're talking about a previous interview or whatnot. But yeah, man, PZ, like you had a bit of a rough week. Which it happens to all of us. And like I said, I hope that you don't take anything I'm saying as like digs and shots, because this is the type of shit that I tell to folks in the studio. And like I said, I get it too, dude. Listen, I have my flaws, and like I've been fortunate enough to get behind the scenes with some really big acts and big people that have kind of like directed me and been like, yo, Adam, like you're fucking amazing here, but you need to work here. You understand what I'm saying? Or Adam, what you did at this point was great, but when you tried to do this thing over here, it wasn't so much. I'm big on constructive criticism. I'm like big on being able to take the feedback and turn it into something beneficial to me. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be some folks that are just going to be talking shit, and that's not what I'm doing here. But it's also your job that when you hear somebody talk about you, to like sift through what's being said and figure out the gems, the nuggets, what you can use and what you can't, because it's not all going to be good and it's not all going to be bad. Like you're going to, that's one thing that my father told me for years, is like, yo, dude, let people talk when they want to talk about you. And just take what you can use and what you can't. Don't, like I said, don't get sensitive. Cause like I said, you remember that clip, you know what I mean? You said artists were sensitive. We're going to find out, you know what I mean? And like I said, take those talkings and kind of work through them, see what you can use, see what's beneficial, and kind of take it from there. But like I said, I don't think you're a bad artist. I don't think that you're hopeless. Like I said, you've been able to build a following. Like you've been able to get some traction. There are people that like what you do. I'm just telling you like how to maybe take it to the next level, things that you can improve on. Like I spend a ton of time in the studio. I have spent a ton of time in the studio. A ton of time in like every area that I touch. Trying to get as good as possible, as great as possible that I can, so that I can maintain and kind of excel, elevate in all those areas. But it's really hard to be insulated and just hear you and not be able to see maybe some different vantage points from other people that and kind of give you some insight on things that you can do to kind of expand. You know what I mean? So like I said, PZ, it's all love. Like I said, shout out to the No Cosign podcast. Just next time, like, the spur of the moment guess sometimes isn't the best. Because I like I said, I think a sit down with PZ would be very very cool and interesting. You know what I mean? And like I said, that's what draw me in. Like y'all did an amazing job of getting my attention and kind of draw me in. Because like I said, I'm not one that watches a bunch of TV. I'm not one that fucking does a whole bunch of doom scrolling and no shit like that. But this was one that definitely I was like, oh shit, man, they're talking to fucking 1800 PZ. Like, let me see what's up. Especially with everything, because like all the other stuff had happened kind of earlier in the week. So I was definitely intrigued on what y'all were going to talk about, but a lot of it was just service level. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, I think that's we're gonna stop it right here for tonight. Like I said, we didn't even touch Project Pipeline. We're gonna get back into it. I'm sure that next week will be another eventful week. Like I'm kind of getting into the groove of the every day's a new adventure, a new set of adventures, excitement that I kind of get to write music to, like create to, talk about. I'm feeling good. I kind of like where I think Arizona is going. I think that for those that kind of know, that kind of have the pulse, that kind of can kind of feel the vibe, shit is shaking up in Arizona right now, and you don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but like something's kind of happening. It's new. It's fresh. I like this. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see kind of what happens. Like I said, we're halfway through the year. Like I said earlier, I've got a lot of music coming. I'm sure that there's a lot of artists that have a lot of music coming. Maybe, PZ has something tucked up his sleeve, you know what I mean? But we're in a good spot, man. We're in a good spot. The Bomber's rocking and rolling. I think we're gonna have some new merch this week too. Like I said, I just released the Green Arrow stuff. DC's been fantastic, and I've kind of got the go ahead to kind of be free. You know what I mean? They got no strings on me. You know what I mean? So that's cool. But anyway, yeah, we'll get back on it on episode 10, and I will try to get back on Project Pipeline. Like I said, we'll talk about Kev. We're gonna get into it. But one of the things that with the podcast and the content is that to kind of take the topics as they come. And that's what I'm gonna do. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna catch y'all next time. The Bomber out.